it's not necessarily that you have to give up on your passion. You just might not be able to have your passion right now. And that delayed gratification is like one of them, like, it's the cheat code to the game. Like, if you're okay with that, you're gonna be all right.
So I was having this conversation with somebody, and everybody that wants to venture out to be an entrepreneur, they always have an idea, a business concept. I want to help put that to rest, because it's so hard for the average person to be able to distinguish the two. The difference between a good business idea or a profitable business. Because not every business is going to be profitable, but it may be a forward business.
Yep.
So how do you distinguish and figure out, do I have a good business idea, or is it going to be profitable?
Yeah, man.
How would you approach something like that?
That's tough, right? Because I just got them all razzed up, like, go try it. And I'm like, and 98% of you ain't gonna make it. And 98% don't make it because of that. So there's two things. Either one, you're not thinking big enough. You're not like, that's why I love the word excellence. Like, if like your excellent life, like that's where you have to start at, man. What is that like peak point? And until you know that, you're gonna be off kilter, because all your decisions that you make have to point to that North Star. That's where most people mess up. But if I'm looking at the business and saying, is this a viable business option or not, you have to remove the emotion, right? Just because you love horses and you want to make buggy whips, nobody's driving buggies anymore. It's going to be a bad idea. But DJ, I love horses. You know, but come on, coach. You know, man, I'm great at making these buggy whips. Understand, bro. But economics and commerce is what drives entrepreneurship. So you have to play by those rules. Like, you can't tell me, man, I'm a great basketball player, I'll tackle everybody on the floor. You're not allowed to do that in the game, right? Well, in business, you can't be a great entrepreneur unless you can get those ideas that are profitable, right? It's one thing to say, this is what I'm passionate about, right? And this is what I want my life to be about. It's another thing to say, I can make it a profitable business. And I really believe that North Star is what can guide you, because how profitable does the business have to be is another question. Can you live on $10,000 a year? If doing what you absolutely love and you got a breadwinner at home and you just need to make like 10, 15 grand a year, dude, you can make that on Etsy selling anything. Like, you got a little cute idea, you can do it. If you're like, I want a private jet, you're gonna have to step it up to another level. It's gonna have to be a big enough business to equate to that goal. Is that making sense? Like, you have to know where you want to go. Like, for me, I want to build the Entrepreneur Institute. Like, that's what I want. I want to make an X-Men school for entrepreneurs, man. And I know it's going to take a lot of money. I'm going to have to meet a lot of wealthy people because I'm going to need donors. Like, those are things in my life that I see. It's not necessarily about making the money in the business. But if a person can't generate revenue at a profit, you can't play the game. I don't know if I'm making sense on that.
No, it makes total sense. Maybe they might not completely understand it, but that makes total sense to me. So when you think about the two, passion and profit, do you have to decide which one leads, or is there always one that leads, in your opinion?
Yeah. So I'll give you my examples. I was like, I don't know what everybody else is doing, but like, my truth is, I want to be Coach Carroll every day. I either want to be on a stage or in front of a camera. Like, I'm most alive there, man. My heart's full of joy. I'm happy. I feel like I'm making a difference in the world. The problem is that don't pay your bills when you're in your 30s. I know that I'm not going to pop until I'm in my mid-40s. That means I got another 15 years I have to wait. I can still do this stuff, and it's fun, and we're building up one hell of a fan base on the ride up. But I know that's my long-term vision. All right, so in the meantime, I got to go wash buildings. You know what I mean? I got to go sell ad tech services. Like, I have to do something other, and that's where that multiple streams of income comes in. It's not necessarily that you have to give up on your passion. You just might not be able to have your passion right now. And that delayed gratification is like one of them, like, it's the cheat code to the game. Like, if you're okay with that, you're gonna be all right. I think you have to look at profit first. I think profit has to come before passion, because I probably don't want to be Coach Carroll if I can't sit in this interview in a $2,000 suit. See what I'm saying? Like, if I'm over here like, yeah, Eric, let's do the interview. And I show up and I ain't showered in 3 days and I'm a little bit homeless and my belly's growling because I didn't have money to eat breakfast this morning. I probably don't want to be too passionate about my passion.
Correct.
So I think profit has to come first, and I'll sublet that into another question. It's like when people come to me like, man, I'm broke, I'm jobless, but I got this great idea, I want to start this business. I'm like, shut up, go get a job. Go get you a job, bro. Like, you need to get back on your feet first, then you can try to do that thing. That's why, I love Gary Vee to death, but when he's like, if you've ever worked for somebody, you're not an entrepreneur. I'm like, come on, bro.
He said, if you've never worked for somebody?
No, if you've ever worked for somebody. Mm-hmm. If you've ever worked for somebody, like you're not through and through, thoroughbred, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro.
I disagree with that.
Absolutely.
Because being employed is where I learned everything. I learned what I did want to be. I learned what I didn't want to be. I'm still learning in my current employment. So that's BS.
Adding that one to the list. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And sometimes learning what not to do is almost as important as learning what to do. You know what I'm saying? When you go over there and you live that, what I call the W-2 lifestyle, when you're living off of a W-2, man, there's very few wealthy individuals that are W-2 earners. Very few. And I said wealthy. I didn't say rich. I didn't say high income. Wealthy. And wealthy means like you can just stop. In my opinion, wealthy means you can just stop and can't nobody touch you. Like, don't matter what happens. Tornado rips through something, whatever. Right. Like your wealth is so big, you're untouchable. There's no emergencies that happen in your life anymore. That's being wealthy. That only happens through multiple streams of income. And while you need that W-2 to get you started, like you can't just stay there because it violates one of those laws of entrepreneurship. It's multiple streams of income, being wealthy.
You can tell a lot of people to go back to work, but so many people in our generation, they lack the discipline and the focus, which is really major. I wanted to go back and help some people understand the difference from expectation versus the outcome.
Okay.
And let me clarify it. So I started a company not too long ago, and I had these grand expectations of what the company would do. I had all of these numbers written down, and I'm like, I'm going to be making this much money, and that really wasn't the outcome. How do you tell somebody to gauge their sights and to be a little bit more modest? Or do you not? Do you tell them to think grand and to not really worry about the expectations, or to not create these expectations of what you really want? How do you keep that level head?
Are you saying like you set a goal, it didn't happen? Because is that what an expectation is?
Right.
Is it setting a goal?
You set that goal and you don't attain that goal, so it doesn't really pan out to be exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah. So I've always told myself, I think I read this in one of Brian Tracy's books, that if you hit the goal, it wasn't big enough to begin with. Like, I don't want to hit our goals. When I set an income goal or something like that, I want to follow up a little bit short, because that's what'll push you. If you're not, and I think that comes with it is like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you're like, man, it's going to be here, and it ended up here. Because that means that you're thinking big, and that's what will push you eventually that level. And it's not that you didn't attain it, it's you didn't attain it in the timeline that you set for yourself. That's all it is. The goal is still there. It's still achievable. It's just going to take you a little longer. And so people get so caught up in the expectations of what this is versus like looking at the work you need to do. And that's why like you shouldn't reward the outcome. You should reward the activity. And so don't reward the sale, reward how many calls you made.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? Because if you're like, my goal is $200 a day. $200 a day, I promise you everything will take care of itself. You can be a really shitty sales guy, but if you'll make $200 a day, it'll happen. Because it's the law of big numbers, right? And so, but we don't get taught that in school. Like, they don't ever teach you to think big like that. They teach you like the A is the A, and you get there or you don't get there, and then in 6 weeks that class is over and you're on to the next chapter. No, man, you can have big, humongous goals that take a long time. And that's what I see is a lot of people, if you change your thinking of like, damn, I didn't hit my goal, it's damn, I didn't hit my goal in the timeline that I allotted. Because when you put that on the end of it, you don't beat yourself up about it. And then the other thing is entrepreneurship. Dude, you get to play this forever. You know what I mean? Average time in the league in the NBA is 4 years. Most players are in and out in 4 years. That's like college. You know what I mean? Entrepreneurship, bro. We'll have another one of these when we're in our 80s.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just on the beach somewhere, maybe on my yacht. Right? I'll probably have a yacht by the time I'm
down
80.
with that. You know,
But
I'm down.
it's that long-term timeline and just having that patience, man. Because that's what makes people give up. Because that's ultimately where that goes. Is I didn't hit my goal. I feel bad about myself. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I'm not the one. I'm gonna quit.
I love what you said about rewarding
The activity,
and not the finish line.
not the outcome.
Not the outcome. So you are rewarding the activity and not the outcome.
Yeah.
That's powerful right
Activity over outcome, man. I tell my
Wow.
team that all the time. All the time. Because you can't, people are going to have slumps. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months. You're going to have bad years. Man, when I lost my gym, that was a bad year altogether.
Right.
Lose $500,000 worth of real estate in a 6-figure company.
there. Tell me about it.
You know what I mean? Called up, fetal position on the couch, crying like a little bitch. My girl's like, it's all right. We're going to get through it. You know what I mean? I just knew you can't give up.
I haven't lost that much. I don't want to.
Oh, man. It
But
was a
I've
learning
lost.
experience, man. You know, most people pay $500,000 to go to Harvard. I paid $500,000 to learn the hard way. You know what I mean?
Man. That's something that I'm going to use in my life because I get so caught up on the finish line.
Yeah.
And if I'm not hitting it quick enough,
Yep.
it bothers me.
Yeah.
I read this quote that said most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year,
Yeah.
and they underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade.
For sure.
And I always had this vision where I'm going to get this done in a year, but why not soft tail it and end up to where I want to be even more and maybe even larger
Yeah.
in 10 years?
Yeah.
I love that you said that.